This is Chippy from umpcportal.com. Let me show you something I've been working on today. It's the kind of mobile podcasting setup and mobile podcatching setup. So that's quite a cool start to finish solution I've got here. And I quickly want to run through it with you. Based on a Samsung Q1 Ultra. This is an 800 MHz Intel based UMPC with extended battery, 5 to 6 hours, more if you're just browsing. Wi-Fi, this one's got HSDPA built in, so this can achieve upload speeds as well, so you can actually use this on the go. It's got 1.2 4x600 screen, little mini keyboard, and SD card slot on the top. Weighs 800 grams with the extended battery, so it's pretty lightweight. I've also got the Samsung Q1U microphone. It's a USB microphone, plugs straight into the top of the Samsung here. So let me zoom in and I'll show you how the setup works. Because basically I'm going to be using in this demo Samplitude Studio. Let's get really zoomed in on this. 1 second. I hope you can see it. There we go. So, Samplitude Studio, I've got a little profile set up here, new project template called Podcast, and I'm basically ready to go. So hit the record button and we're off. You're listening to UMPC Portal on the Samsung Q1 UMPC and the Samsung Q1. And if that's not confusing, then watch the video which accompanies this mini test podcast. Thanks for listening. And the recording was okay. And you're listening to UMPC Portal on the Samsung Q1 UMPC and the Samsung Q1. So that's pretty cool, it all works. And I can export to MP3, export MP3, test number 1, and off that goes. And then I can go to my podcast studio and obviously upload the episode. But I'm not going to do that right now because what I want to do is demo the use of Skype with it, because Skype works as well. So give me a minute, I'm going to call JKK Mobile in Helsinki and we'll see if we can get a quick live Skype conversation recorded and podcasted. Bear with me. Okay, I'm going to start up Skype here. This Q1 Ultra is running Windows XP, which is quite quick compared to when I used to have it running Vista. That won't be a surprise to many people. Signing in, I'm going to call JKK in Helsinki and we're going to record the conversation as well. So let's pretend this is a podcast. Delete the tracks, delete the objects, sorry. Delete. Where are you? Okay, let's delete the whole thing and start again. So, Samplitude Studio, new virtual project template, podcast, okay. Right. You're listening to a test podcast, not a TED podcast, with the Samsung Q1 Ultra and the Samsung Q1U. And I'm just about to call JKK Mobile in Helsinki now and record this on the Q1 Ultra. This is part of a test I'm doing for a video that's going on the blog very soon after I've finished. Here we go. Calling JKK Mobile now. As you can see, that's recording in the top level there. The audio will feed back on this, I guess. Is he? Hey, JKK, how are you doing? Can you hear me okay? Because I've actually got the volume switched down. I'm recording this on the video and pretending it's kind of a live podcast on Skype. Good, excellent. Well, that's all I need from you, because then I'm just going to stop this, export it as MP3 and upload it as a test podcast, because I'm doing this on the Q1 Ultra. So thanks for your testing. Bye. Okay, so that worked. I can stop the recording now. Just test that. Calling JDK mobile now. And that's recording at the top level there. And that works pretty well. So I can export that. Well, actually what I'll do is I'll pause this video, I'll trim it down, export it and show you how I upload it. Back in a minute. Okay, so I've just trimmed the end of that. I'm just exporting it as an MP3 now. Meanwhile, I'm going to go to my podcast episodes, and I'm going to add a new episode. And it's pretty simple to do this, so I'm just going to call it Test 1 and Test. I'll delete this afterwards, so don't need to put the show notes in. And blah blah blah. Upload media. It's under podcast. It's called Test 1. And now that's going to go up. It's a fairly small MP3, and hopefully within a minute I'm going to be able to pick it up on my Podcatcher, which is the Nokia N82. Let's move that up to the background here. And that has uploaded. Okay, this is literally 30 seconds later and it's up on my pod show, and it should play. I'll just take this out. You're listening to a test podcast, not a TED podcast, with the Samsung Q1 Ultra and the Samsung Q1. Yeah, there you go. umpc.podshow.com. It's there. Now let me update my Podcatcher, and I'm hoping that that's going to be on the RSS feed already. It could take 10-15 minutes to update. It's not there yet. That's a shame. Okay, let me try this again. I got a feeling I know why it didn't work. I was doing it via HSDPA, which is a proxied service, which is probably a cached proxy service. So I'm now going to go and do it over my local LAN. There's Wi-Fi on this, so this is a very cool Podcatcher, by the way. Updating, there you go. So I'm doing it by my local LAN. It's picked up the podcast. It's downloading it. 20% downloaded, 30% downloaded, 40, 50, I don't know if you could see that, 70, 80, 90, and this is literally less than 5 minutes after doing the show. You're listening to a test podcast, not a TED podcast, with the Samsung Q1 Ultra and the Samsung Q1. There you go. That is cool. 5 minutes from podcast to Podcatcher. I tell you, the N82, the Q1 Ultra make a brilliant mobile podcasting creation and catching tool. Steve Payne, Chippy, UMPC Portal.